What is going on, everybody? It's your observant lineman, Uche Waneri here. And today we are talking championship weekend in the NFL. Obviously, this weekend we're going to be seeing the NFC and AFC championship games played. And this is definitely an intriguing couple of matchups to me. Obviously, you've got Bills Mafia coming to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. The Bills are on quite the run right now. They've got good momentum. They've got a healthy team, which is something that Kansas City is definitely very much concerned. I wouldn't say concerned, but I would say that they're very much trying to pay attention to the current status of their playmaker, their franchise guy, Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, this guy had an injury last week. We all saw it, concussion. And now, with about 4 days to the game, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes listed as a player who took had limited participation in practice this week. So it looks like they should be able to get him back. It's hard to really know with concussions. I had one officially in my career with the Jaguars, and when you go into the concussion protocol, there are a number of things that you have to do. You have to report. You have to go meet with a doctor who's outside of the team, who's not connected with the team, to get a evaluation done, and then after that, you're going to have to meet with a designated agent from the NFL who will give you a baseline test. Now, the baseline test is basically the test you take before you go into OTAs, before you get into any team activities. You're going to be taking a baseline test. That baseline test will basically set your cognitive levels going into the season. And if you are in the concussion protocol at any time, then you will have to meet or exceed your baseline in the same test in order to be able to be cleared to go back out on the field. Now, I'm very curious as to what exactly his progress is looking like in that regard, because really, there is, at least in my experience, and they said that my concussion was mild. Didn't feel that way, but they said it was mild, and this was going into the last game of our season. Obviously, this is not the AFC Championship game, but it's all treated. It's supposed to be treated the same, regardless of the team situation, right? So, with mine, this was going into the last game of the season. The team was trying to get me through that protocol, and turns out that I didn't play. I didn't play in the last game. I didn't travel, didn't do anything with the team, and didn't practice all week. And I didn't pass my baseline cognitive test for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. It took me 4 weeks to be cleared in taking that cognitive test. This was this wasn't a situation where I just didn't want to play because we were having a terrible season. This was the Mike Mularkey season. So we were like 2-14, something crazy like that. And, it boiled down to the fact that I couldn't take the test. Every time I tried to take the cognitive test, I would literally get dizzy, get nauseous, and, just begin sweating profusely, like looking into the light of a computer screen to try and take a test like that just did not sit well with my brain. So with that, in them saying that was mild, which, I mean, I didn't get knocked out, but I definitely was concussed. With that, I look at Patrick Mahomes' situation and I think to myself, we saw what happened to him on the field, and they're saying it was a pinched nerve. That's what they're officially saying. But, we saw with our own eyes, Patrick Mahomes he looked unconscious when he hit the ground and when he kind of tumbled over the Cleveland defender that was tackling him. His eyes were blank and his fists were clenched closed. And that's usually the telltale sign that somebody's unconscious in that moment. And he got up, it was, clearly like a blink of an eye in terms of him being out cold. He gets up or tries to get up and his legs go to spaghetti and he has just this blank stare on his face. So there was, clearly some damage done there. And it's hard to say whether or not, at least, just again, me speaking from my experience, I don't see how a week is enough time to recover. Now, you have to remember, when all of this NFL concussion protocol was put in place, you began to see players who got concussions be out for multiple weeks. You would rarely see a player who was concussed who was back the next week. Now, that's how it was prior to this protocol. Like, even going all the way back to when I was young watching football, a player gets a concussion and it's a week. They'll be back in a week. And you usually would see that player back out on the field a week later. And, to the naked eye, no worse for wear. But now we know better. We know that's not true. We know that a concussion has lingering effects that can linger for a very long time. I know one player we had, Laurent Robinson. Laurent Robinson got one concussion in Jacksonville. We signed him to a $30 or $40 million contract. A receiver. He was coming from Dallas, and he got a concussion. And once he got that first concussion, he became instantly concussed anytime he got hit. And what it boiled down to, because he ended up missing the majority of the season after his concussion, what it came down to was that, you have to there has to be enough time for the brain to heal. In this situation, Laurent Robinson didn't play again. He got released on a medical release after the season. They tried to give him a workout to see if he could pass a physical to get back out to be eligible to be back out on the field. And he couldn't finish the workout. He started having headaches. So they had to release him. And that was, obviously not the same situation. He had multiple concussions throughout the course of the season. So played out a little bit differently. But with Mahomes' situation, I am really interested to see how exactly they can get him back on the field, and he's able to get out of the concussion protocol in 1 week. I can't remember the last time I've seen a player get out of the protocol in 1 week. So unless it really wasn't a concussion and it was a pinched nerve, which, I mean, I'm no doctor. I don't know what the difference is between. I don't know what how that affects his motor skills or his memory and his cognitive abilities. If it's a pinched nerve, but they have him in the concussion protocol. So I think that is going to be a massive key. Obviously, that's the biggest key to the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs have to have Patrick Mahomes out there. All due respect to my boy Chad Henne, but, it's a little bit different closing the game where you got to lead and winning a game from the start and being able to operate and be efficient in an offense to the point where you can lead a team to victory. I just, that's not what I think they want to ask him to do. But this is the thing. If Patrick Mahomes does not pass his cognitive test, he's not going to play. There is no way that he will play. And now I've heard some sports media people, I think it was Colin Hurd, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't know. I think that he was the one who suggested that if Patrick Mahomes is not able to pass, to be cleared, that they should postpone the game in order for him to be cleared so that both teams can play this game, which is obviously to punch a ticket to the Super Bowl. So both of these teams can play at full strength. Hogwash. Total hogwash. This is football, and these things happen. If Patrick Mahomes ain't ready to play, the game should absolutely be played. And if he can't be out there, then that's the luck of the draw. And I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan. I like Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's one of my favorite players in the league. He's a great guy, stand-up guy, plays the game like a kid. He plays it with passion. He plays it with heart. He plays it smart. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's thriving. And I would love nothing more than to have him out there on the field during the championship game, the AFC championship game. But I honestly, highly doubt if he has a concussion that he will play in this game. I just can't see how the level of, the appearance of how the way that he looked, the way that he was affected in that game against the Browns, I don't see how that is something that he can get over in a week. Now, if he does, that's great. If he does and that's legit, that's great. That's huge, because they gonna need him. They are absolutely gonna need him in this game. But it's you have to understand this about football teams, about the way that they're going to portray this as a football team, the way that the head coaches, the way that the position coaches, the players will portray it to the sports media, is that he's making progress and he should be, and they're expecting to know more later in the week for him to be prepared to play. They're not going to obviously let any doubt seep into the general public about whether or not he can play. But things may be different behind the scenes. Things may be a little bit different, and they may be in that mode where they're trying not to panic, and they're trying to put on a good face. But come tomorrow and Friday, if he isn't, if he hasn't passed his baseline test by tomorrow or by Friday, he's not playing. If he hasn't passed it by Friday, he's not playing. That's really what it boils down to. So we'll see how that plays out. For Kansas City, obviously, if they can't play with him, tables are going. The betting odds will shift substantially in Buffalo's favor. So let's take a look here. Super chat. We got $5 super chat from RC from NYC. What's up, Uche? What's up, chat? Hope everyone is well. Thank you, RC. Yeah, man, we're doing good. We're doing good. Happy Inauguration Day to everybody. We had an inauguration today. Regardless of your positions or your beliefs, it was an inauguration today. We got a new president, and let's wish him good luck and see that we can move forward and try and mend things up a little bit in this country. But enough of that. Buffalo. Let's talk about Buffalo for a second. I like Buffalo. I picked Buffalo to go all the way. And you guys probably can see I'm not pulling up the tier maker here, because tier maker is pretty much done. It's spoken for at this point. We know who our 4 teams are at the top, and they're the ones who are playing this week. Buffalo has been on a mission from the beginning of this season, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it. This team is legit. I was saying it from week 3 when I was breaking down their film. This is a team that plays, and they're playing way better. They're playing much better than they were then. They're playing better now than they were then, is what I mean to say. These guys are definitely, they're definitely on a mission, and they have a lot of weapons. There's so many. They have the countermeasures that you kind of need to play against a team like Kansas City. Now, assuming Kansas City's at full strength, they have a defense that is playing lights out right now, and this is the time for these kind of things to happen. Like, the Bills' defense was solid throughout most of the season, and when the playoffs started, the Bills' defense has kind of moved into a whole new level, a whole new intensity with their play. You've got guys like Poyer out there making excellent plays, stripping balls late in games. I mean, they are playing with a level of awareness that you need on a defense to make it to the Super Bowl. They are. Now, Kansas City is playing well on defense as well. So that is going to be, I think, the deciding factor is whose defense can make one more stop than the other one. It's crazy. Buffalo in, I believe, let me see here. Let me pull it up real quick. I don't know the stats on it, but I believe that their defense in the last this season, well, in the playoffs, I wonder if they have stats set up for the play. Oh, yep, they do. Here we go. They're scoring 22, and opponents are scoring 13. Let's see. Ooh, couple of things that are a little bit, and let me share this with you guys so you can see it. Couple of things that are a little bit concerning, I guess, looking at it on paper in the postseason. They are giving up third down efficiency of 47%. So that and their third down efficiency as an offense is 27%. So this is a huge stat. Whoops, that's not going to work. Whatever. All right, y'all know what I'm doing. This is a huge stat right here. Third down percentage. Third down percentage is massive in the playoffs. It's got to be good. You've got to be over 50%. That's what you're aiming for. To always be over 50%. They're giving up right around 50%, and they're halfway there. They're not even close to converting on third downs enough. They're 6 for 22. While their defense is actually giving up 16 for 34. I think that has more to do with the offense not being able to continue or not being able to extend drives than it does necessarily that the defense is not playing well. Because when you're not converting on third down as an offense, your defense is on the field much longer, and they will eventually begin to give up yardage. That's just part of how football goes. Now, let's see what their red zone looks like. We got some red zone over here. What's the red zone efficiency looking like? Let me see. Don't see red zone efficiency in here. Huh. Oh, well. Don't see that in there. But, red zone efficiency and third down conversions are going to be huge for every team playing this weekend. You have to be able to convert on third, and you got to be able to score when you get inside the red zone. We saw a number of times that the Chiefs did not score in the red zone. The Chiefs actually missed multiple field goals, which, a field goal is, is the bare minimum that you want to have in regards to getting points in the red zone. Field goals you have to have more touchdowns than field goals. And the Chiefs missed a few attempts last week against Cleveland that would have given them a bigger cushion than they might have, than they had going into the second half, going into the late portion of the game. So, these are the things that you got to pay attention to. And for you bettors out there, for you people who are betting, those stats are big time. That's where you can kind of look at a team and decide where you want to go with your bets. Look at how they do when they're converting, and look at how they do when they're in the red zone. Now for the Chiefs, with their situation, okay, let's see. Their third down efficiency is right at 50%. That's exactly where you want to be. But their defense is also giving up 46%. So it's balanced. It's balanced out there, but they obviously have fared much better than Buffalo has in converting their third downs. That's huge. I keep looking for this red zone number, but I don't see it. They're 100. They're 2 for 2 on fourth. Their opponents are 3 for 3. So I think this is going to come down to a level of execution. It's going to come down to third downs. It's going to come down to creating touchdowns in your drives. And again, we see how. And it's been kind of a whole thing this season in the NFL, is that kickers have just been missing more and more and more. So sometimes it's not going to be necessarily the preferable thing to go for a field goal in a situation where you're in the red zone and you're not able to get into the end zone. I think you're going to see some fourth down shots in the red zone. Maybe even early in the game. I know that you saw it last week. Andy Reid is aggressive. He plays the game. He calls an aggressive game. And, there's no better time to be aggressive than in the situation that these teams are in now. But I think that when you look at these, little details within the game itself, there's a lot that you can take away when you look at how these teams operate in their efficiency. Their efficiency has to be consistent. Now, again, things can change dramatically based on what happens with 15, if he's in the game or not. I see some people in the chat saying that he's listed as probable, or that's RC said he's listed as probable. But, again, like I said, if you're telling me he can get back from a concussion in a week, that's a hard sell for me. That's a hard sell. But we'll see how that plays out. Now, on the other end, we got Tampa Bay going into Lambeau Field. Ooh, this feels like back in the Warren Sapp days when it was Warren Sapp versus Brett Favre. You got Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, yada, yada, yada. They're going into Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field is a ridiculously hard place to win games, especially in the playoffs. That's a hard spot to win. And Tampa Bay Bucks, Florida team, they're going to have their hands full. This is an offense in Green Bay that is going to be attacking. This is an offense that knows itself through and through, a poised offense. I saw a couple of plays where Aaron Rodgers was, cool as the other side of the pillow in the pocket when it looked like, he was going to be under duress. One of them was in the end zone where you could possibly give up a safety. And he stayed in the pocket the entire time, just shifted, made his offensive lineman right, and delivered a strike for a first down. That is just kind of that's kind of what Green Bay has been doing all season long. They've just been on point. They had a couple of games that were off, obviously, but here in the postseason, they look like a team again that is on a mission, a team that knows exactly what they want to do, and they know exactly where they want to go. Aaron Rodgers he's been playing at the MVP level, the majority of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if he won it. Tampa Bay, when we look here at their stats, again, third down efficiency, they're good. They're sitting at 45%. But their defense is giving up 52%. So that's going to be, again, it's going to come down to those things. It always does. It's going to come down to red zone. It's going to come down to third down efficiency. So with the Bucs, I grew up a Bucs fan, so it's hard for me to say this, but I just don't care to see another Super Bowl with Tom Brady in it. Call me a hater if you want. I don't give a damn. I'm just kind of tired of that. It's a new era of NFL football. And, on one side in the AFC, we've got, the future. We've got Josh Allen. We've got Patrick Mahomes. You've got the future on that side. And on the NFC side, you have the old Riley vets, the battle tested. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got Tom Brady. Now, Aaron Rodgers, I like his style. I like how he operates. I feel like he has, been a class act dealing with a lot of people who have been naysayers about him. I mean, I've always liked his style of play because his instincts are impeccable. And you can see it on the field. He plays just with this keen knowledge of where things are without even necessarily needing to see them. And Tom Brady is more methodical. Tom Brady is more of a by the numbers, by the book style with his play. He's just very, very, very good with his ball placement, through his career. He's been very good with his ball placement, and he's got that GOAT status, and you can never bet against Tom if it comes down to the last drive. But in this one, for me in particular, I am betting against Tom. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. They will win this game against Tampa Bay Bucs. And part of me thinks it won't be as close as some people think. Now, you got to remember this about Tampa Bay. Last week, the New Orleans Saints had 3 or 4 opportunities to seal the game. To close it out against Tampa Bay. And they fumbled it. I mean, they fumbled it away. They fumbled those opportunities away. They threw interceptions. They couldn't convert. They got bogged down. Drew Brees didn't have the arm strength to push the ball forward. But the Saints had them in a compromised position to seal that game, and they didn't do it. I don't think you see that same kind of thing happen if Aaron Rodgers gets an opportunity in this game to seal it for Green Bay. I think that if this is a 7-point game in the fourth and Green Bay has the ball with the lead, I think they close that. I think they close that game out. I think they close it out. They go up 14. Now on the flip side of that, if Tampa Bay is down 7 and Tom Brady has the ball to end, in the last drive or the last minutes of the game, well, I'm fairly confident that game's going to overtime. But we'll see how that one plays out as well. I think that these are going to be, I think they're going to be good games. I think that, it's going to be, especially with the Bills and the Chiefs, you're going to see a game that is going to be physical because of the way these defenses play. With Green Bay, you're going to see the ball all over the place. The ball it's going to be an air raid for the Packers on the offensive side. They're going to bring a lot of different looks. They're going to have and Aaron Rodgers has the ability to change plays as he sees fit. Tom Brady, you're going to see him launching that ball deep. Anytime they're in the red zone, that Mike Evans is going to be the target. So there's going to be a lot of big plays, I think, that are going to take place in both of these games. It's just on one side of the ball with Kansas City and Buffalo. I'm looking at it as a defensive game, a game where defenses will cause turnovers and potentially score. And on the other side, it's going to be about which defense can get a stop, because these teams are going to be putting points up left and right. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game with Green Bay and Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be more along those. I think that the Buffalo game is going to be more along the lines of what you saw last week with Cleveland. These are going to be teams that are going to put up touchdowns, but it's not going to be, there's not going to be 30 points on each side. I think it's going to be somewhere between 14 and 24, between them or with each team scoring between around those many points. So they're going to each have their own very interesting aspects that are going to really give each game its own unique feel. But those are my picks for those games. Looking at the chat here. Let me see. A little bit of chatter going on there. Another story in the NFL that we got to kind of talk about here, because it's a story and it's definitely one that deserves for us to talk about it. Today marked the official retirement of Phillip Rivers from the NFL. Phillip Rivers, 17-year career. And the big question that a lot of people are asking today is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? He doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. He played in the AFC title game. And I'm right here. You can see Twitter. I've got Bleacher Report Gridiron that has this kind of outline of his career. 8-time Pro Bowler, number 5 in career passing TDs, number 5 in career passing yards, number 5 in career completions, number 12 in career passer rating. Never missed a game. Never missed a game. 252 straight starts. Played through torn ACL in the 2007 AFC title game. What do you guys think? Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? I would say yes. I would say he is. This guy is the epitome of a tough-nosed, old-school football player. He is that. There are many different reasons why he didn't get an opportunity to get to a Super Bowl. There are many different reasons why he didn't get a ring. I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of the pieces and management around him. I mean, I think he's a Hall of Famer, and I don't know how do you not give a guy who played every game of his career, who didn't miss a single game, how is he not a first ballot with his statistics that are also on display there? He's in the top 10 in 3 of the 4 major passing categories, and he got 8 Pro Bowls. I mean, he played with a torn ACL, and I remember that game, that AFC title game. He played well. He didn't play terribly. He had a good game. He had a good game. I think Phillip Rivers is absolutely a Hall of Famer. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Why not? How many other players who are first ballot Hall of Famers who don't have Super Bowl rings have played in every single game of their career, have not missed a single start throughout their entire career? I mean, if you can say that Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, which he has 2 Super Bowls, and I don't think by any stretch that Eli Manning was a better quarterback than Phillip Rivers throughout their course of their careers, then you'd have to say, in my opinion, that Phillip Rivers is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think that's fair enough. Uh, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, the NFL Hall of Fame thing is weird. I mean, in Jacksonville, they're still trying to get Tony Baselli in there. He's been a finalist a couple of times in a row now and still hadn't gotten in. So, there's a way that they have a system in how they pick those with the votes and stuff. But, look at, certainly Phillip Rivers is, if not a first ballot, a second ballot Hall of Famer at the very worst. I mean, this guy he was the face of this Chargers franchise for 16 years. And, I respect the guy. I just think that he was a great player who just didn't get the chance. Not everybody's going to get the same chances. Not everybody's going to have the same opportunities. A lot of things have to come together to get yourself a chance to play in a Super Bowl. A lot of things have to come together, and some of those things aren't in your control. So, I think that he did a lot to do. He did a lot in way of trying to get the Chargers over that hump. But again, just because you work your ass off doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the result that you desire in the NFL. That's just kind of how the NFL is. Andrew Luck is another guy who you look at Andrew Luck's career and some people are going to say, well, Andrew Luck's a Hall of Famer. Well, Andrew Luck didn't really do that much compared to Phillip Rivers. So, it's definitely something I'm sure people are going to discuss, but, a little bit of paying a little tribute to Phillip Rivers, much respect. And he's one of those guys who was known for his trash talk, known for his banter on the field. And, there are plenty of videos that document that if you want to go look it up online, where you can find a lot of, especially on Twitter, a lot of videos of him trash talking opponents. But let's look at one in particular here from J.J. Watt, where he talks about Phillip Rivers, and he says, I'll never forget lining up for a play and Phil pointing to one of our linebackers and telling him he was lined up wrong based off the blitz we were about to run and being 100% correct about it. Haha. That's those kind of conversations happen on the field. I've had times where I've gotten in my stance at the line of scrimmage and, defender, oh my God, I just had a flashback of fear and pain. This was my first year as a starter. I did a video on this, first encounters, Ray Lewis. Oh my God. We get in a 4th and 1 situation. They call a power play. Of course they call power. Why, what else are they going to call? It's 4th and 1. We're going against Baltimore in Baltimore. Baltimore has to win to get in the playoffs. I line up at the line of scrimmage on the power play. We had talked about all week long, if we got into short yardage, we were going to run power. And part of me didn't want to believe that when I was in the huddle on 4th and 1 in this game. I didn't want to believe it. I get in my stance. I look up because I'm the pulling guard. I'm the guy who's got to pull. I look up. There's Ray Lewis. He points right at me and says, he's pulling, and does some kind of check, and the entire defense moves over one shade for our power to take on our power play. So, this is my first year as a starter. So I'm in my stance and I'm looking up. And when he said that, I kind of turned my head a little bit to look at Dave, because Dave's under the center now. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like trying to will Dave to check into a different play, because there's no way in hell we should be running this. They just called the play. We just lined up and they called what we're running. And he pointed to me and said, I'm pulling. And yes, I am pulling. Needless to say, if you want to know what happened after that, you got to go watch the video. It's in the First Encounters playlist. But That play ended up about as good as you probably might expect. But no, that's the kind of banter that does go on the field when you're playing in games. You know, guys study film, guys watch things, and you know, sometimes it's sarcastically we'll talk about those things on the field. So you know, that's cool that's something that that JJ Watt shared about Phillip Rivers. I think that's a really, really nice thing to share about him. But, you know, salute to Phillip Rivers in his 17-year career. He's got, what, 10, 15 kids? He can go rest easy now and just raise them kids. But, you know, we'll definitely miss that kind of player at the quarterback position, the way that he played the game. I think that was cool. I think that he was definitely a player who, while he didn't get a ring, he definitely played to win the game. He played like a guy who wanted a championship. So big shout out to Phillip Rivers in regard to that. Now, to bring this thing full circle, I found this clip on Twitter. It is a quick short video here on a fake spin move that Frank Clark hit Taylor Lewan with that gave Kansas City a chance that gave them the ability to seal the game against Tennessee last year. Just wanted to do a quick breakdown on this while I'm sitting here with you guys, and hope you guys can see it. But this is one of those things for an offensive lineman where your best way to play against what happens in this is to have practice against this kind of thing repeatedly. And Frank Clark runs this. Now that's a good, like his set here, Taylor Lewan's set is good. This is a good set. Good set. He's got his hands up and he strikes. Now, what I don't like is when he strikes with that right arm, he doesn't grab anything. He just punches and then takes his hand off of this guy. You don't want to do that as an offensive lineman. Once you get that, where his hand is, his hand placement right there is perfect. You grab under that pad. As soon as you hit him, you grab under that pad, he's not able to spin. He won't be able to spin. But when you pull your hand off, he's still able to continue on his route. Now, one thing that we're taught by Andy Heck, who's with the Chiefs now, when I played, we called it spin the top. When a defender starts to spin, what you want to do is punch him and spin him like a top. Punch his back and spin him around. So if he so he can't fake this. Or in this situation, because he has completely given you his back, you grab his pads, you grab under his armpit or under his shoulder blade, you grab right on the pad, right where his shoulder blades are, you grab that pad. You grab both sides and you hold him up right here, right there. Now, what Taylor Lewan does wrong, look at his feet. He starts to get on his toes. He starts to lean forward a little bit right there. He leans. His head is in the block now. Now you can be spun off of. When you're right here in this position, you can be spun off of. Because you're not able to punch. All of your length as a striker is negated. Your arms are collapsed and your face is in his back. You don't have any, there's no base, there's nothing for you to actually stop him with. Like you're in a bad spot here. So he gets his face into the block, and then from there with the fake, when he fakes to the inside, that's when Taylor leans forward into it, and then he doesn't have anything to grab. So the fake spin continues on, and he's stuck. He's stuck from there. He can't get anything done. And that's the game. So just, for all you aspiring offensive linemen out there, keep your head out of the pass block. Do not put your head into a block like this. That's what doomed him, is that he put his head in it, he leaned forward, He had no control over the defender whatsoever. If he keeps Frank Clark at this length here the entire time, if he keeps him at this length and just keeps his hands latched onto him when he punches, he stops him completely because he's got him. He got him with a good punch. He just did not keep his hands in place, and he leaned forward, sat down when he shouldn't have, and that's how it played out. So, just a little bit of knowledge for you guys who are, Monday morning quarterbacks. When you're watching to see what happens to an offensive lineman, usually it comes down to did he punch the guy with his hands? Did he latch on with his punch and keep that guy locked up with his elbows slightly bent so that he can drive him like a car? He can control him like he's driving a car? Or did he just punch him, bring his hands back, which you did nothing, because now you've just reset and he's able to continue on whatever path he was on. He can roll to a second move, and it's going to make it more difficult for you. In his case, he thought he was getting a spin. He leaned into it, so he took away his arms. His arms are now useless. He leaned into it with his face, and that made him a completely. It made him very slippery as a defender. He now can just slide off of you any way he wants, and that's what Frank Clark did. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of the old football IQ information, so when you guys are watching the game, you can see these kind of things happening in real time, because I see them all the time. So that's going to be it for this edition. We didn't do the tier maker because we didn't need to. We just talked matchups. That's going to be that. And I appreciate you guys. Now, what I want to do is I want to actually do a live viewing of the game. Now, I'm not going to be having the game up for you guys to see, but I'm going to be live watching the game, giving you guys my thoughts as the game is going on. And, I'd love to have you guys there. Love to have you guys share it and like it and, be there for the first game, which I don't know exactly which game is first, actually. Let me see here. Okay, so first game up is going to be Tampa Bay at Green Bay. So 3:05 on Sunday. Plan on being in here for the live stream. We're going to talk football. I'm going to have my Coach Ooch hat on with the shades, and we're going to talk football as the game goes on. And we'll see where these who's punching their ticket to the big game in Tampa, for the Super Bowl. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Let me look at the chat real quick. Uche, did you play with Seth Payne? Ooh, you have to show me a picture. I don't recall a Seth Payne. Don't recall playing with the Seth Payne. So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys very much for being on the stream. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already done so. And if you haven't subscribed, this is your first time coming into a stream, hit that subscribe button and check out some videos on my playlist. I got tons of them about different things having to do with football. But yeah, Coach Ooch is going to be here this weekend for championship weekend in the NFL. Conference championship games are going to be played, and we will have fun watching them and talking about them. So plan on being in here. Check your notifications so that you know when I go live. Obviously, I'll be going live a few minutes before the game, and we'll go from there. So that is going to be it for tonight. I appreciate you guys. Hope everyone is out there staying safe. Hope everybody's out there healthy, having a good time. You guys are the best, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out.